There are definitely some overarching trends that we're seeing emerge from the Global Trends Report 2013. So, for example, one of the biggest trends that we've seen is the demand, for example, for multi-generational family trips. So that would encompass things like family-friendly holidays, such as we've seen with child-friendly safaris. But equally, this sort of underpins the need for travel operators to accept that the traditional family unit has changed and that these big demographic trends are important, and you need to cater for the new non-traditional family units, whether that's the Panks, such as the professional aunts, no kids, that we've seen in the Americas. So these are professional ladies who are childless, aged between 15 and 44, who are very keen to spend time with the children in their lives, whether those are nephews, nieces, or godchildren, or friends or family. So this is an overarching trend that we've seen regarding multi-generational families. That also includes grandparents. Another big trend is obviously online and social media, plus mobile. So the travel industry going mobile and social. That's a very powerful trend. We've picked up on that through our mobile concierge in the technology sector. And equally, we've seen social media become mainstream. So whether you're looking at India, which is the third largest market for Facebook, with Indian travel players having to have a presence in social media, such as Make My Trip, which is very active. You've also got the Ministry of Tourism joining Facebook this year. So there's this big move to engage with consumers online through the social networks, and also to engage with them and ensure that their feedback is taken. They appreciate their feedback and they're listening to what the customers want.
I mean, World Travel Market positions itself as the leading global event for the travel industry. How well do you think World Travel Market reflects these trends in terms of the seminars and the releases they put out, the general marketing around World Travel Market? How on top of the trends are World Travel Market?
Well, having been at various conferences this year, a lot of them in Asia, a lot of the trends that have been discussed have been, for example, on China outbound. Now, China outbound is a significant trend. The importance of travelling Chinese people and destinations having to cater to them. However, what I think World Travel Market does very well is reflect consumer trends. So whether that's social media, mobile, different ways of engaging with the customers on the various touch points, the importance and the changing role of the travel agent, the role of the OTA, the importance of the meta search sites such as Kayak, TripAdvisor, all these kind of people. And I think World Travel Market does a great job of embracing all the different aspects of the travel industry, from a destination point to a technology point to also encompassing the consumer point of view, which I mentioned.
I asked you the chance to give us a global overview, but I know that you're responsible for a couple of the regions, specifically in the trends. Can you just remind me what they are and what the trends are?
Well, one of the trends that we've picked up on Africa is the family-friendly safaris. So this year's trend is called the Big Five with Your Little One. Now, traditionally, when it came to safaris, people or children under the age of 16 were not permitted to travel on safari for reasons of safety, also boredom, because of the long game drives. However, what we've seen is a change in approach by many of the specialist safari operators, and they're now targeting specifically the family market in amongst the other demographics that they focus on. So family-friendly operators are offering, sort of amenities that cater to children. So, for example, for accommodation, that could be cots, interconnecting rooms. In addition, when you're going on a game drive, there'll be shorter game drives with car seats for children. Also, the activities. So whether that's having their own children-specific tour guide who takes them off trekking and tracking for animals, making bow and arrows, canoeing, horse riding. So it's like a brilliant adventure for children, whilst the adults can go off and enjoy an adult-specific tour, or they can join in with the children-friendly activities as well.
Okay, and what source market is looking at African safari? Is it the Americans, Europeans, Brits?
Well, traditionally, the main source markets for Africa are international markets, such as you said, so the US, France, Germany, UK, Canada. And this is what we're seeing, that it is the sort of international market operators that are providing the new safari, children-friendly safaris. But what's also interesting is there's also a move to target the BRICS, because the BRICS also are increasingly going to Africa, and also China has strong links with Africa as a region, which means that the business travel is also leading into leisure travel interest. So the BRICS is a new source market, and also, for example, some camps and lodges allow Indian families to even use the kitchen so that they can make the food themselves, which is quite popular for Indians. In addition, we're also seeing an increased focus in targeting domestic visitors, because traditionally African domestic tourists were not interested in safari. So in places like Kenya, we now have Africa to the Point, which has a charter where it's encouraging domestic tourism and safaris. So moving away from this idea that safari visitors is only for international people.
There's a lot of interest in China as an outbound market from all parts of the travel industry. Euromonitor International identified cruising as a trend. Could you explain why the Chinese are taking to cruising, and whether it's domestic cruise lines, international cruise lines? Is this another opportunity for P&O and Carnival?
Well, what we've seen is that for the Chinese market, cruise holidays is a relatively new concept. It only started up really in 2006, and in that time the number of ships has doubled, so there's almost 300 ships berthed in China last year. We're also seeing capacity double, so for example the likes of Carnival, who are really leading on this trend, they've set up a base in their headquarters in Singapore to target the Chinese market, and also to focus on destinations close to China, so whether that's Korea, Japan, and also to the likes of Taiwan. But then also there's great opportunity for promoting Southeast Asia as the new Caribbean. So the CEO of Carnival Asia, Pierluigi Boschi, has indicated that the Caribbean offers lovely weather, diversity of culture, and so many beautiful islands, just like the Caribbean. So there's great potential there. And I think what's important about this trend is the underlying growth that we're seeing in China, the importance of China outbound as a market, and for cruises, this means that there is opportunity for international players who are very keen to promote their brands in the region, but equally for the likes of HNA, which has its own Hena cruise ship, which is a domestic Chinese cruise line. And so there's opportunities there for domestic cruise companies to grow and develop in China.